Okay, hello there YouTube. This is the first video in how to solve a Rubik's Cube. And this is just going to be a general overview of the method and then stuff you're going to need to know, like notation and stuff. So I'm going to start with notation. So there are 6 sides on the Rubik's Cube. There's right, left, up, down, front, and back. And the way it's notated what turn you're going to use is using letters. So R is for right, L is for left, F is for front, B is for back, U is for up, and D is for down. An important thing to note is that whenever you see notation, you're always going to turn it as if you were facing that side. So like if I saw a B, which would mean back clockwise, I would turn to the back and turn it clockwise. Or from the front, it would just look like that. So yeah, I'm going to go over all the turns right now. So if you just see an R, it means you're going to turn the right clockwise. So here's the right face. Clockwise will be away from me in this case. If you see an R primed, so it's an R with like a little apostrophe, it's going to be right face counterclockwise. So it's going to be this way. If you see an any face followed by a 2, that's just 180 degrees, and it doesn't matter which direction because it's the same thing. Yeah. Same goes for L. If you see just a regular L, then it means the left face clockwise, which in this case is towards me because it's left. So right and left are opposite. So here's right clockwise, left clockwise. Same goes for counterclockwise. So right counterclockwise and left counterclockwise is away from you, and that's a little L primed. And then top is easy. So here's top clockwise, top counterclockwise, and then twice. And then down is a little bit more confusing. So here's down clockwise, here's down counterclockwise. So clockwise, counterclockwise. Front, pretty easy, clockwise, counterclockwise, and then the back gets a little bit more confusing because it's clockwise, so clockwise and counterclockwise. Easy way to remember this is if you were to put your left finger on any face and then pull towards you, that's always going to be a counterclockwise turn. So like if I put my left finger on the right face and then pull towards me, that's a right counterclockwise. Or on the down face, pull towards me. So yeah. Worst comes to worst, just turn the cube and face it and then think, okay, which way's clockwise? If you can't remember. But you'll start getting used to it. Yeah, so on to the method, I guess. The method I'm going to teach is layer by layer, or LBL. There are 7 steps, I think. 7 sounds right. I had to count there, sorry. Yeah, 7 I think. So I'm going to go over those steps right now. Okay, so the first step is a cross on the bottom face. I'm going to use white on top, yellow on bottom for the purposes of this tutorial. You can use anything. I would recommend using the same as me because it makes it easier. But if you want to use orange on bottom, then just whenever I say yellow, think orange. So yeah, cross on the bottom. Then after you get the cross, you solve the corners, so you end up with the whole bottom face, bottom layer. Then the next step is to solve these edges right here. After you get those corners, so you end up with this whole bottom 2 layers. And after that, you get a cross on the top face without destroying any of this. And then you orient the corners of the top face, so you end up with a whole white face on top. Still got this block. Then you move the corners around the top face, so all the corners are in the right place. and then you move the edges around, and that should be it, and then you should have a solved cube. That was just a general overview. I'm going to go over the steps in more detail in further videos. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention, just about the cube itself and properties, stuff you'll hear me mention. The cube has a color scheme. Most cubes come with what is called a defer by yellow color scheme, and that is because if I start at any face, I either add or subtract yellow. So in this case, I'm at white. So I add or subtract yellow. I'm going to add yellow in this case, and I get the opposite side, which is yellow. If I start at red, add or subtract yellow, I'm going to add yellow in this case. I get orange, which is the opposite side. Same with blue. Add yellow, you get green. Or you can start at green, subtract yellow, you get blue, etc. That's the color scheme. The color scheme does not change. You will never have orange next to red as far as the centers go. Because if you watch, even if I move like these middle layers, relative to each other, the centers are still the same. So red is always opposite orange. Green is always opposite blue. And the pieces themselves each have different properties. The edges have two colors, and they have either permutation, which is where they are. So it could be here, 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 wherever. And then orientation. And there's only two possibilities for that. There's this, or there's, if I were to flip it, have orange here and white here. So there's two possibilities for orientation. Corners are the same thing. They have permutation. So here, 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 and then orientation. So I could have white here or white here and twist it three possible ways. An interesting thing is that there are 12 edges. So that's 12 positions and 1 and 2 orientations. So 12 times 2, that's 24 possible ways, I guess, for the edges to be. And then the corners, there are 8 corners and 3 orientations. And 8 times 3 is 24. So again, that's 24 possible ways for them to be on the cube. Yeah, I think that ends this video. It's pretty good for using this method. I usually use a more advanced method and average like 28 to 32 seconds. So I'm not an incredibly fast cuber, but I'm pretty decent, so this is a pretty decent time for this method. And you should be able to get down to times like this. Yeah, so that's gonna wrap up the video. I will see you in the next video.